Goa, a name that instantly conjures images of sun-kissed beaches, swaying palm trees, and a laid-back lifestyle. When you hear that name, you probably think of sunny beaches, tall palm trees, and a really cool culture. But there's so much more to this small state on India's west coast. Beyond the beaches and the vibrant nightlife, Goa is a treasure trove of history and culture. The streets are lined with traditional houses that tell stories of a bygone era, and the markets buzz with the energy of locals who have inherited a rich cultural legacy. This small state on India's west coast has a super interesting history, shaped by lots of different people and cultures over many years. From ancient dynasties to colonial powers, each has left an indelible mark on Goa's landscape and its people. From ancient kings and queens to explorers from faraway lands, everyone wanted Goa. The ancient temples stand as a testament to the region's early rulers, while historical reenactments bring to life the arrival of explorers who were captivated by Goa's allure. Its spot right on the Arabian Sea made it perfect for ships and trading, so lots of people came here and they all added something to Goa's story. The bustling ports were once the epicenter of trade, attracting merchants and adventurers from across the globe. This mix of cultures makes Goa special, a place where the East meets the West. The architecture is a blend of Indian and Portuguese styles, and the festivals are a vibrant mix of traditions from both cultures, creating a unique and harmonious coexistence. When the Portuguese arrived in the 1500s, everything changed. They brought with them new architectural styles, culinary influences, and religious practices that would forever alter the fabric of Goan society. They stayed for over 400 years and changed Goa forever. Those Portuguese forts and churches that dot the landscape are enduring symbols of this long period of colonial rule, and they continue to attract visitors from around the world who are eager to explore Goa's rich and diverse heritage. Today, Goa is a melting pot of cultures, where the past and present coexist in a beautiful tapestry. The cuisine is a delightful fusion of flavors, and the music and dance performances reflect the region's diverse cultural influences. Whether you're exploring its historical landmarks or simply soaking in the sun on its pristine beaches, Goa offers an experience like no other. The time when the Portuguese were in Goa was complicated. It was a period marked by both conflict and cooperation, a time when two very different cultures came into contact and had to find ways to coexist. The Portuguese arrived in Goa in the early 16th century, and their presence lasted for over 450 years. This long period saw many changes, both good and bad, as the Portuguese tried to impose their ways on the local population, while also adapting to the new environment they found themselves in. Sometimes people worked together, and sometimes they fought. The Portuguese brought with them new technologies, new ways of governance, and new religious practices. They built roads, schools, and hospitals which benefited the local population. However, their rule was also marked by periods of harsh repression and forced conversions. The local Goan population had to navigate this complex landscape, finding ways to preserve their own culture, while also adopting some of the new practices introduced by the Portuguese. The Portuguese brought their language, religion, and how they did things, and it mixed with what was already in India. The Portuguese language became the language of administration and education, and many Goans learned to speak it fluently. At the same time, the local Konkani language absorbed many Portuguese words, creating a unique linguistic blend. The Portuguese also built many churches, some of which still stand today as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These churches were often built next to Hindu temples, creating a unique architectural landscape that reflects the cultural fusion of Goa. You can see this mix in Goa's buildings, its food, and even its people. Goan cuisine is a perfect example of this cultural fusion. It combines traditional Indian spices and cooking techniques with Portuguese ingredients and recipes. Dishes like vindaloo and zacuti are a testament to this blend, offering flavors that are both familiar and exotic. The street markets of Goa are a sensory overload, with the smell of spices, the sound of vendors calling out their wares, and the sight of colorful textiles and fresh produce. Big churches were built next to old Hindu temples. This juxtaposition of religious structures is a physical manifestation of the cultural blend that defines Goa. The Basilica of Bom Jesus, which houses the remains of St. Francis Xavier, is one of the most famous churches in Goa and attracts visitors from all over the world. Nearby, you can find ancient Hindu temples that have been places of worship for centuries. This coexistence of different religious traditions is a hallmark of Goan culture. The smell of yummy spices mixed with the smell of Portuguese pastries. Walking through a Goan market, you might catch the scent of freshly baked bread from a Portuguese bakery mingling with the aroma of spices from a nearby stall. This olfactory blend is a small but powerful reminder of the cultural fusion that defines Goa. The local cuisine, with its mix of Indian and Portuguese influences, is a delicious testament to this blend. From spicy curries to sweet pastries, the food of Goa tells the story of its unique history. The local language Konkani started using some Portuguese words, making a new way of speaking. This linguistic blend is another example of the cultural fusion that defines Goa. Many Goans are bilingual, speaking both Konkani and Portuguese, and this ability to switch between languages is a reflection of the region's complex history. Street signs in Goa often feature both languages, a visual reminder of the region's colonial past and its vibrant present. This mix of cultures makes Goa different from other places in India. The cultural fusion is evident in the region's festivals, dances, and traditional attire. Goan festivals often feature a blend of Indian and Portuguese elements, from the music and dance to the food and decorations. Traditional Goan attire also reflects this blend, with women often wearing saris alongside Portuguese-style dresses. This unique cultural mix is what makes Goa such a fascinating place to visit. It shows how strong Goan culture is. It kept its heart even with all the new things. Despite the many changes brought by centuries of Portuguese rule, Goan culture has remained resilient and vibrant. The people of Goa have managed to preserve their traditions while also embracing new influences, creating a unique cultural landscape that is both rich and diverse. This resilience is a testament to the strength and adaptability of Goan culture, which continues to thrive in the modern world. Around the middle of the 1900s, a wave of independence movements swept across the globe. Many countries were breaking free from colonial rule, celebrating their newfound freedom with joy and hope for a brighter future. This period was marked by a significant shift in global power dynamics as nations in Asia, Africa, and other regions asserted their right to self-determination. India, after being under British colonial rule for nearly 200 years, finally achieved independence on August 15, 1947. The struggle for freedom was long and arduous, involving countless sacrifices by leaders and ordinary citizens alike. The moment of independence was a monumental event celebrated with immense pride and jubilation across the country. This was a huge deal. The streets were filled with people rejoicing, waving the Indian tricolour flag and participating in parades and fireworks. It was a time of great national pride and unity, as people from all walks of life came together to celebrate their hard-won freedom. The success of India's independence movement inspired many other regions, including Goa, to seek their own freedom. The people of Goa, who had been under Portuguese colonial rule for over 450 years, began to dream of liberation and joining the newly independent India. But even though India was free, Goa remained under Portuguese control. The Portuguese were determined to hold on to their colony, despite the growing desire for independence among the Goan people. The contrast between India's newfound freedom and Goa's continued subjugation was stark and deeply felt. Portugal didn't want to let Goa go. They maintained a strong military presence in the region and were unwilling to negotiate or consider the aspirations of the Goan people. This led to increasing tensions and a growing sense of frustration and anger among the local population. This made the people in Goa start fighting for their freedom. Inspired by the broader wave of decolonization and India's own struggle, Goan activists and freedom fighters began organizing protests, demonstrations, and acts of civil disobedience. They were determined to achieve the same independence that their Indian counterparts had won. People who lived in Goa and those who had moved away all joined together. The Goan diaspora played a crucial role in the independence movement, raising awareness and garnering support for the cause on an international level. Their efforts helped to keep the spirit of resistance alive and brought global attention to Goa's struggle. They wanted to be free and be part of India. After years of persistent struggle, Goa finally achieved liberation on December 19, 1961, when Indian armed forces intervened to end Portuguese rule. The people of Goa celebrated their newfound freedom with the same fervour and joy that had marked India's independence, as they became an integral part of the Indian nation. The fight for Goa's freedom was led by some very brave people. These people from all different backgrounds risked their lives to make Goa free. Tristão de Bragança Cunha was a very important leader. He wrote and spoke about why Goa should be free, and he inspired lots of people to join the fight. Other important people were Peter Alvarez, who started a group called the National Congress Goa, and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, a famous leader who helped Goa's freedom movement. These brave people never gave up, and they inspired others to fight for a free Goa. India tried to talk to Portugal and ask them to leave Goa, but it didn't work. So in December 1961, India decided to use its army, navy and air force to free Goa. This was called Operation Vijay. It was fast. Indian soldiers quickly took control of important places in Goa. Portugal's army was smaller and couldn't fight back for long. In just 2 days, Portugal gave up. On December 19, 1961, the Portuguese flag came down in Goa for the last time. Goa was finally free from Portugal. December 19, 1961 is a super important day for Goa. It's the day Goa was freed from Portugal and became part of India. People in Goa celebrate this day with lots of excitement. Everyone was so happy that day. People went out into the streets waving Indian flags and celebrating. It was a very emotional time because Goa was finally free. Everyone in India was happy that Goa was free. It was a win for Goa and for all the other places in the world that used to be colonies. Now India was whole. In Goa, the party went on for days. People danced, sang, and thanked India for helping them. Goa was starting a new chapter full of hope. Now Goa could be a bigger part of India and its people had more opportunities. Since Goa became free, lots of good things have happened. The government has worked hard to help Goa grow, build better roads and schools, and make life better for everyone. Tourism, which is very important for Goa, has gotten bigger and bigger. With people visiting from all over the world, Goa has also gotten much better at education, healthcare and computers. And Goa's amazing culture is still going strong. The festivals, music, dancing and food are famous and bring in lots of visitors. Today, Goa shows how successful India is as a free country. It's a place where old traditions and new ideas live together. Goa Liberation Day is still very important. It reminds people of how hard they fought for freedom and how strong they are. As Goa keeps moving forward, it remembers its past. It's a story about how amazing the people of Goa are and how they can keep their special traditions while also changing with the times.